I genuinely agree with these guys.
Like,
he's probably the best person that I've worked with in esports as a team member these days. But back when he was like at his peak, when he had like a huge ego, he was just a diva. If things didn't go the way he wanted, he could be a bit of a sassy little Sasquatch, for lack of a better word.
Welcome back to another episode of Pros. I have an intro to read. And another coach-isode. We've heard your feedback that you really enjoy the coach episodes and will try to do more of them this year. Today I'm joined by Shopify Rebellion Damonte, Team Liquid Alienware's Spookz,
Howdy.
and Dignitas Swiffer.
Hello.
Before we get started, YouTube analytics show at the beginning of videos have the best viewership. So I have been asked to take this opportunity to remind everyone the LCS Spring Finals is going to ASU's Mullet Arena. And tickets are now on sale. Order them on Ticketmaster.com or click the link in the description.
Cool.
But welcome to coaches.
Thank you.
Thanks
We do have like
me.
a strong Team Liquid contingent here.
Yeah.
I do realize this.
I feel left out.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You could be the next one. Simo, I replace Simo, and then you take my job.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Get through
Think
it
that
all
could work.
fast.
You're next in line, Dana.
Yeah. Dodo told me.
Let me think about this. Maybe.
Real quick before we get into the games, because you two played against each other today, I don't think that many people know how far back your history goes. Can you explain, I think, starting from Chiefs, or does it go back further than that?
Further. Do you want me to go, Simo?
I only met you last year.
Okay. Perfect.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
So actually, I used to play solo queue with Simon. Actually, initially what happened was 2012. I was on the league forums, and I was 1400 rating. And
Which wasn't good back then.
Yeah, it wasn't too
Yeah.
hot. And I was looking on like online posts, and I see OSTF 1750 ELO streamer, and I replied to the forum. I was like, "Hey man, you want to add me? Like we can play." And then he didn't respond to my
I
post.
couldn't respond.
And then all those months later, I eventually climbed through playing Talon ADC back in the
Talon
day.
ADC.
Well,
Yeah.
it's 2012. That wasn't even
It was a wild one.
that weird. Yeah, you could just play whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was melee ball lane. And then I eventually met him in solo queue. And then through there, we started duoing. And then we were just on every team together from then for like 8 years, basically.
Basically that. I've never worked with any other jungler.
Yeah, actually, we
That's
didn't.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were the longest duo for league history, I think. At
So
the end.
you retired and he was still your jungler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never wondered what it would be like with a different jungler.
No, I did. Of
No, but I
course
think
you always have to wonder. But no. I always really enjoyed playing with Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I thought I didn't. I
Yeah.
really actually really liked playing with him.
you got
it
to
was
play with
like-
Carbon one time.
Yeah, I did play with Carvin
Yeah.
once or twice. It was
Yeah.
like we would do those all-star things. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with a different jungler then.
When was the last, this is kind of for all three, when was the last professional game you guys played as a player?
It was against Fudge
Oh yeah, in the finals.
in 20.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't finals. It was semis.
It was,
Like we didn't make it,
2019 before, his team went to Worlds.
Yeah.
yeah. We got pentakilled by his Aatrox.
Yeah,
Because
we
you
did.
were on order with Spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fudge retired us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the
that's what happened.
17-year-old Aatrox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aatrox
yeah.
Yumi. I actually remember that game.
Yeah.
When you get
Oh, do
outplayed
you?
that hard,
Yeah.
when you get outplayed that hard, you just know it's time to hang up the
I
keyboard.
was like, okay. I actually retired 15 minutes ago. Yeah.
I think mine was you guys remember the Bud Light Ace on CLG?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I replaced Pobelter after the Bud Light Ace.
Oh, yeah. I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played 3 weeks of like the summer split because at that time I was like streaming in 2021.
Yeah.
And then I think Tafo called me after the Bud Light Ace, and then they're like, "Yo, come
Can
save
you,
us."
can
And
you
I was like,
explain
"All
the
right."
Bud Light Ace? Because that was 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I don't remember all the context, but I think CLG was
disaster,
sponsored
man.
by Bud Light.
It was a disaster.
And there was some Bud Light Ace like framing or whatever.
I remember this.
Yeah, and then there was a video of the general manager flaming all of his players, something like this. And then it was sponsored by Bud Light Ace, and then the team imploded.
It was a docu-series where they were trying to give like actual behind the scenes content of like, you haven't been performing well, we're gonna have to make some changes. And then someone was like, wait, we need to put in the Bud Light sponsorship somewhere.
Yeah.
So they did it right at the worst
This looks good.
possible
This looks
time.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, ship it.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing, Damonte, do you want to explain the sausage?
I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're in the middle, so
Oh.
it makes sense.
Do I have to touch it again?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we have a fresh
Did you
sausage.
say
in the back.
sausage?
Do you guys know about the sausage?
We were talking this.
Oh, no.
We were talking today
No.
about the parity in the LCS, right?
Mm.
And how everyone would power rank like Team Liquid right near the top, and
Yeah.
Dignitas right at the bottom,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
pull the sausage out
That's
so
a
the so
that's
fans can see.
a rather lengthy.
That's
Man,
I mean, it's a
vile.
long. It's a long year.
I've touched
It's a
the
long year.
sausage too many
But
times
what,
gonna
today.
say,
but what
I've seen some
happens? What
sausages in my
happens
time,
You wanna
but-
hold it?
is actually
Oh.
if you
Oh, it's an actual sausage.
if you touch
Yeah,
the
you can
tips
smell it.
together,
Oh.
right? Even
I
though
was-
it seems like it's
okay.
far away,
You want
actually,
to touch it?
It's like an Ouroboros.
if it comes close, you're not touching this. You're not touching the tips of the sausage.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is the whole
yeah,
shtick.
the
is
whole
like
shtick.
the last place. you
Actually,
gotta
Dig and
tou-
TL
yeah.
are closer than it would seem.
You got to touch the
Oh, I
tips.
see.
Yeah, the teams are even though one is 0-3 and one is 3-0, they're much closer than they seem, as was witnessed
Yeah.
today.
No, it's nice that you put us that far up the sausage.
That's really actually quite a condescending statement, isn't it?
That you're
No,
close
I
to
think
Team Liquid.
No, from him.
I think Dignitas is great.
Thank you, Sam.
I genuinely think they're not as bad as what people say they are.
Okay.
Dignitas.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
Cool.
How are things going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, not
Y- y-
not so
like-
much this week, but it was actually rather tumultuous this week. We had obviously the EWC qualifier matches, which were
Which Dig and Shopify are eliminated
Yeah.
already?
yeah, we played pretty badly.
Mhm.
And
DSG,
very
right?
very like small amounts of redeeming gameplay, to be honest. In that
Mhm.
lack of prep, obviously on one hand, I think that we were also just in a real funk after maybe the first day of scrims,
Mm.
and didn't bounce back at all going into that. And I think after the first game that we played, it was just downhill from that. I think everyone just wanted to get eliminated from that
Get
tournament
through it.
ASAP. Yeah.
Jeez.
Our games are pretty similar, honestly, because we played Lyon 4 games this week. For anyone who
Oh,
doesn't
right.
know, yeah, we played them on Tuesday, and it was disgusting. It was real bad. Kind of just like lack of prep, bad just we were just not ready to play.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then our games against Lyon, at least today, were better.
Yeah, I mean, actually, all three of you kind of had a rough go in EWC because you guys lost to FlyQuest.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about it if you don't want to. We're just,
Yeah.
we
I
can
mean,
only
it-
focus on the loss today.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean we've had honestly a pretty rough week, I would say. In terms of like up to what we think our standard is. I don't think we've played as good as we'd hoped. It felt like we were making a lot of progress like at the start of the year, and then it feels like we've gone backwards a little bit. Especially like you could probably see today, our gameplay was definitely not organized. So yeah, not feeling the best at the moment.
What feels good and bad about the series today for TL?
Good.
Probably
I think
winning.
we won. Yeah. No, I think our bot lane, I honestly would say our bot lane played pretty well overall. I think honestly, like Core kind of carried through his leadership today because I think there was not much back and forth in the communication. Like our side laners weren't really, so I'm just like putting them out in the public, but they just weren't really feeding much information back and forth. And it was kind of up to Core to like carry the boat in that sense. So I was really pleased with bot lane. But yeah, just our coordination between side lanes and mids and like ping-ponging across the map was pretty bad. So that's kind of why the game looked pretty bad. And you could probably see it through the game one, like the ARAM kind of game. I think when we're playing at our worst, we just overgroup. Like we had our analyst actually look at the data like super in depth, and he said we were the most grouped team in Split 1 of any team in the world, which is kind of interesting for anyone to hear, I guess. But
I need this spreadsheet now. Like that's
no, Hatham has some really like good data for
Yeah.
us to like kind of understand what's going wrong with our team. So yeah, it kind of felt like we went backwards a little bit today on that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. And then on a positive note, what do you feel like went well in game 2?
Just I think cleaner execution in game 1. I think that game 1 we should have been able to close that out.
Right.
And then I think I mean, you guys played well to come back, obviously. I think that we just got really excited in the game.
Yeah. All
and
this
just-
respect all of a sudden.
and
It's nice to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't play the back half of the game really well. And then game 2, I think we just felt like we'd warmed up into the series. And then, I mean, I think like the beginning of it didn't go according to plan. Like I think actually it was almost like a reverse game. I think like the first 10 or 15 minutes were
Yeah.
not in our control.
Yeah.
And then clawed it back and then felt like we could close that out. And like chilled the comms and everything as we were going into the back half of that game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the drafts did seem a little bit different. Like already in game 2, pulling out Senna Alistair. I always feel like FBI Senna is just insane.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Whenever he can find the angle for it. And then he got a little bit fed. I'm like, oh no, he's
Yeah.
going to carry this game.
FBI center is terrifying.
It is actually.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know all
scary.
about the FBI center. Yeah,
It's the most threatening center you've ever seen. Usually I see it and I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're going topside. But no, we just played the 3v3.
Is it like a conscious choice to get Ignar on engagers, or is it just look good in that angle?
Yeah, I mean both. Like he's looked good on that, and like we're working on like other stuff, obviously. But I think when the pressure's on, like the comfort really shines through. Yeah.
Yeah. FBI's got to be a link for like all three of you guys. You had FBI on energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FBI is great.
Yeah, he's really
Agreed.
good.
Yeah. I think with Vic, because I had him in 2023. I also played with Vic as on Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves back when I was a pro player.
I was also
sick.
on that Golden Guardians team.
Yeah, you're the coach.
Yeah.
You were coaching me
Yeah.
back then. But
And we played with him as well in 2018.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean like oh yeah, yeah.
But the most incredible thing about FBI, I think, is back then in 2020, 2021, I feel like he was a big kid still. But I feel like in 2023, when I went to coaching and then he came to NRG, I credit a lot of us winning the trophy that year due to Vic kind of like growing up. He became an emotional rock for our team, and he drove a lot of the VOD reviews forward, which we really needed. Like there's the infamous story, I think, Palafox and FBI were talking about, where FBI just straight up flamed Palafox, and it was like that moment was the lowest of the lows on our team, and then it led us to the championship, and like that was a lot to do with Vic.
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing now. Like he sees the game very, very clearly, and he is incredibly mature. And then the moments that he's not, he's very quick to catch himself.
Yeah.
Like maybe indulges in it for a little bit, but then he's like, "Nah, I'm better than that," and just snaps himself out of it.
It's impressive because he was not a great teammate when I was playing with him.
Yeah.
yes.
And then like
Yeah.
within like
Yeah.
3 years, he just like he understood, which was
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Give me an example now that he's a good teammate. You said a bunch of nice things about him. Give me like a toxic FBI interaction when he was a teammate.
He was just
or
a
no?
diva. Like sorry, Vic, but like I
He's good now.
genuinely
He's
agree
great
with these
now.
guys.
We
Like
all
he is
know.
probably the best person that I've worked with in esports as a team member these days. But back when he was like at his peak, when he had like a huge ego, he was just a diva. Like if anything didn't go his way, or like Tanner didn't pick Galio and old bot on cooldown, or TF, because we had like 2 champions back then, we had to like push mid and roam bot. He would just be like tilted that we don't dive bot. No offense to him. No, I'm just saying it was like we had to do everything around Vic and honestly close at the time.
Oh yeah.
Or the team couldn't function, so everyone else had to like sacrifice themselves for those two. And honestly, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing because it gave us like a pretty clear
Yeah, we had an
play style.
identity.
Yeah. But if things didn't go the way he wanted, he could be a bit of a sassy little Sasquatch,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
I think that's a really good word, actually. I'm
Yeah.
impressed by it. Yeah, and he also would watch when he watched like Ruler Pro Review like every morning. He was just obsessed with the top creative
Yeah,
players.
exactly. Yeah, I think he probably still does
Yeah,
it,
he
right?
does. Yeah.
Yeah, he is the epitome of like he watches Ruler Viper and
Yeah.
exactly their trade patterns, what champions they're playing, what rune setup, what builds they're doing. He really wants to aspire to. I know it's like something that's kind of frowned upon generally. It's like, why do we copy Korea? Like, blah, blah, blah. But like, if someone is doing the work outside of the game and learning from other players, and then you can have your own spin or interpretation of what they're doing, that is like the best thing you can do, in my
Agreed.
opinion. So
I agree. Like imitate first, and then if you're able to imitate,
yeah,
great. Now you can then add your own
yeah,
spin.
it's all you
Imitation
don't
is,
just
like,
exactly.
so
you
much
don't-
of the work has been done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has.
yeah.
Absolutely. We haven't talked. I haven't heard your opinion on the TL dig game. I know you're casting it, but pretend I
mean,
didn't hear your cast.
Dignitas is looking a lot better, I would say, especially from when we played each other in week 1. It was just a complete disaster, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Like,
Yeah, it
you
was
guys
real
didn't
bad.
even show up, really. But I feel like Palafox played pretty well. He's soaked a lot of pressure in those games. Ignar Alistar is obviously insane. He's just so good at this kind of champion. I even said it in the draft because I was casting. I wanted to give you guys the win right away because I just felt like Ignar Alistar just breathes so much confidence.
Yeah, it does. He like, and you can hear it in how he plays as well.
Yeah.
It's just so like this is what we're doing. Like, give me this. Like, yeah. He becomes like a carrier of the team.
Yeah. I'm interested on your opinion on this because when I was watching your game, I actually felt like our teams are very similar. And then we played against Lion today, and obviously you guys played against Team Liquid. It feels like our teams really are scratching at trying to win so badly, while the other teams are almost doing less to do more.
Yeah.
Like we're trying so hard to win that it's shooting ourselves in the foot sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just feels like the other team are so much more confident with how they play. So they don't need to worry about these small details as much.
Yeah. It's almost like it's like words per minute. It's all related, right? But it's like if you're a really cool-headed team or you're confident or whatever, you can kind of step back and just assess the game, and you can tell when the enemy team is in team.
Yeah.
And you don't have to really do anything, and you can just punish accordingly. But when you're in a frenzy and trying to claw the win, no one knows who's in team. And if you have two teams like that, it's like it looks like a real mess.
Yeah.
Like most of the time. So I mean, like no, I completely agree with that assessment. Yeah.
How do you get out of it? Like, what do you work on?
You either have someone that chills you out in the game, or you get confidence from your practice, or you get confidence from a game plan, or you have something else that, like, obviously you always have to problem solve something in the game. Like someone's always going to do something that is unexpected.
Yeah.
And it's okay to miss opportunities. It's just not okay to miss the opportunity and then try claw it back. Right? Like you're always going to get another one. Like it's okay to be patient.
I think there's there's one more big one, which we kind of had on 100 Thieves last year, which was like enjoyment. I think like kind of it kind of like the opposite of what Tan is saying. It's like when you're trying so hard to win, it gets so serious. There's so much pressure on every decision you make. When you can find a way to take that pressure off and enjoy the game and have fun playing the game, you look for more plays and you like the map becomes wider. You see more opportunities and the game feels more natural. Like if you played Pro League of Legends, it's like there's that feeling in the game where it's like when it's super tense and serious and you feel like you can't make a play. It doesn't feel like you're playing League of Legends. It just feels like you're just hoping the enemy makes a mistake. But if you have someone, and I think FBI does generally a good job of this, that can like take that extra pressure off in the game and make sure everyone's enjoying it, that's when people play their natural game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Somehow that made me think of, this is a very deep cut, 2011, my first LAN was IPL 3.
Is that when you played Udyr?
Yeah, I did play Udyr. So the first game we played at that LAN was actually against Steve and Doublelift on Curse.
Yeah, you're rock solid, right?
We smashed them. Yeah, we're rock solid. We switched Dignitas like the week before that tournament. Yeah. But I remember game 2 was close, and I didn't feel super tunnel vision in the game. But I watched the VOD back, and the reason I couldn't complete my Sunfire cape was because I built 2 chain vests. And they were just sitting on my inventory for like 10 minutes because I was so locked into the game. So it makes perfect sense that just like finding the joy, finding that relaxation can be a really important thing. And then we'll get back to the other LCS teams because I want to touch on the other 4 in power rankings and stuff. But I want to hear from you guys since you've both, all 3 of you have been coaching for so long, and my coaching experience was pretty short. And I always felt like when I was on Team Liquid, we were a pretty good scrim team. Probably won like 60 to 70% of scrims. And even with that, the bad days always felt really bad and you needed to kind of claw your way back. And it just made me wonder like how you deal with teams that lose so many scrims, because you really do derive confidence from winning scrims. So like what are some strategies to claw out of those?
Perfect question for you,
Thank
Simon.
you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take this one.
First.
I think there's like, okay, you can kind of go 2 ways with it.
Yeah.
You can kind of, if the team responds to it well, you can kind of really crack down, and then you can
be a firm coach.
Yeah, do all that. I tend to go like there's light in the darkness type of thing.
Yeah.
Like even in terrible games, you have sequences that you play probably pretty decently, right? I think that it depends on what the mood is, right? If you need, which is something I think that's just I think how I coach. It's like if you just try to assess. I think everyone does it. You just try to assess the mood and then see what people need. And I think that if things are going really badly, but everyone just kind of needs to see the positive, it's quite easy to just point them in the right direction, because ultimately like you control what people look at after the game.
You're
right?
running the
So there's that. Then there's, okay, we're just going to do this simple thing and like just try execute it. And I don't care if we win or lose, like just do this thing. And you just need to feel like you're making progress sometimes.
Right.
And I think that's a comfort to people, even if the defeat screen pops up. So you don't need the win to like hope. I mean, eventually you need the win, but like to get there, you can do a lot of like really small things to try to recover like how people see it.
Yeah.
And then when it does, when you do win, you just try to capitalize on it.
Right.
That rare game.
Damonte, because I know Energy, even when you guys won the title, a lot of that year was probably like 50-50, maybe even 40% scrim win rate.
Yeah, and even right now, I think we're probably in the same boat as Dignitas. Pretty low win rate in scrims, which is rough.
Yeah.
But I think it all comes down to intention and what you're trying to accomplish within the week, within the day, whatever time frame the coaches set up. You have to make sure that you are aiming for something, and if you can accomplish that, it feels good. Even if you do end up going 0-6 in a scrim day, you could be like, okay, at the end of the day, we do a recap. We actually worked on the things we were talking about working on. And I mean, the biggest thing, honestly, is making sure the games are just not completely nonsensical.
Yeah.
Because I think once the games make no sense in practice, even if you win that day, it honestly feels like shit still.
Yeah.
So it's just getting everyone aligned on the same values and having intention with your practice.
Yeah. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I just agree with what these guys are saying. I think generally these days, I think teams have gotten pretty good at structuring like and achieving like small goals within the game, as opposed to just like 2xing the VOD, which I feel like people back in the day used to do. So like 2xing the VOD and looking at every single mistake that happens.
Are 45-minute reviews no longer the norm?
Oh, I've done that this year.
Yeah.
They
I'm
happen.
guilty.
They for sure happen.
Definitely guilty of that.
There are certain players that have insane attention spans that want to stay locked in for an hour in a review. Call JJ, just saying. But the majority of the players generally want to take away like one or two things from the VOD. So you have to do a good job of like finding a middle ground, because like some people want to see everything that happens.
Yeah.
But if you aren't like efficient about what you're going to lose the rest of the team, and then no one's going to be on the same page. So the structure and like what these guys are saying, I'm not going to repeat the exact same thing they're saying, but just achieving those small goals every day is like eventually what's going to build you into a better team.
Yeah. It's hopefully not too boring for people, but like the amount of different things you want to try in reviews is so dependent on the mood of the day, the types of players you have, the results of the games. So League of Legends is a game where you need to practice against other teams that are in your league. Like no other professional sports have that weird dynamic. So it's always this negotiation you have with other teams, which makes it like super fascinating. Moving on though, power rankings of the league from your perspective, because you have more inside knowledge. It feels to me, and I want to get your take on this, I thought we have the top three, which are C9, TL, Lion. And then I had FlyQuest and Sentinels as the middle. And then I had Dig, DSG, Shopify as the other three, with the idea that the middle can win or lose against anyone in theory. And I mean, you proved today that maybe even the bottom three can beat the top three. But it would have been, I'd say, classified as like a big upset if that happens.
Sure.
How do you feel about that classification? And feel free to completely disagree.
Yeah, I would say it's like a relatively fair assessment, like the kind of breaking it into those three groups. I would say I genuinely think anyone can beat anyone. Like even today when I'm watching Shopify Lion series, like Shopify made a couple of crucial mistakes, but the plays they were making were actually very good. Like they used their Pantheon Rise to like snowball into bottom like really well. They're using their turns perfectly. They just make like fumbling a little bit. Maybe it's like a bit to do with what Tanner was saying earlier, where it's like they want to win too badly. Like if they can stay calm in those games, I think they could have easily closed out against Lion today. And I feel the same for us. Like I am not super calm going into any series against any team. Like we have to make sure our prep is good, because I just feel like it's possible to lose against anyone. I don't know how you guys feel.
No, I actually echo. I think the rankings are they make sense. The thing is, it just feels like there's not really a team that's untouchable. I know that based on our scrim results, that might be really funny to say, but it genuinely feels like there's no one that's like so. The only time I've actually ever really felt like that was when we would scrim, like G2 were just untouchable. It's like,
and was this back when you were on SK?
Like, yeah. It was 2023, 2024. Like I mean, you guys, you probably scrimmed them at Worlds, but like it would have been different. Like maybe, you guys actually had some success. It just felt like the vast majority of teams it was like no matter what you did in the game, you would lose.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that.
I mean, was FlyQuest like that at all last year in North America, or not the same?
In my opinion, FlyQuest last year were really insane.
Yeah.
I think even based off statistics and feeling, I think that might have been one of the best teams we've ever had in NA.
That's actually true.
I thought 2020 C9 was like that as well for the little bit of summer split before they actually collapsed and didn't make Worlds, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah, I think Fly felt very oppressive to play against.
Yeah,
like they just had their own distinct style. There's like the 1-2-2 style with like Buzio covering weak side, Inspired attacking Bwipo side. And it was like you knew what they were going to do every game, but it felt so hard to break. And I honestly think Inspired kind of brings that style to most teams that he's on. But if you don't play really cleanly against Inspired type of teams, it's like so oppressive because he's like, they're just slowly getting ahead. They're like slow pushing, freezing side waves. You have to be super decisive and play well to beat that type of team.
Yeah.
So.
I think this is what I was going to say on the power rankings discussion, because I agree with the power rankings that were given, but I feel like there's also two distinct styles of gameplay right now, where I feel like you have FlyQuest and I would say Team Liquid lays on this side a little bit too, of like faster play and less coordinated, less investment into the later game. Although I do think you guys do this, obviously. But I think with the Jose Diodo and Quid, you guys actually have like this mid jungle who wants to play really fast. And then FlyQuest, who I think are just really insane all the time. They play super fast, really prone to throwing games. And then I think you have Lion, who is, I would say, the king of calculated play, and then C9 right below them. So it's like, to add to the conversation, it feels like there's two play styles being played in NA.
And then what is Shopify closer to of those two play styles?
I would say we're trying to push being a controlled team more than playing a more crazy styled game.
Yeah. I didn't want to cut you off with your G2 story if you had.
Oh, no. I'm actually, no.
Okay,
yeah, that was basically, they actually did feel like Fly last year.
Okay.
Like quite creative. And then as soon as you make a mistake, like you just lose control of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I think to add to that, I think scrimming caps is like, I mean, this is like complete random topic, but it's like,
totally fine.
It feels like when he's inting that he's like got way more pressure than your mid laner. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He can be 0-7 on his year. And it's like, why does he have so much pressure in the game? Like, it doesn't make any, like, he can be winning side prio down like 1,000 goals.
It's crazy because if you made like, he's like 0-6, and if he ever 1-for-1s you, the game's over.
Yeah. It's actually.
He collects a bounty.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
He dies, but like their whole team is just ready. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, well, I haven't scrimmed him for a while, to be honest. But
hopefully he's fallen off.
He's washed, actually. Yeah, don't worry about it. First hand didn't happen. The game today. I don't know if you saw Berserker's post-game interview, but he was actually saying that game one felt like really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like the hardest game that he's played because of what happened early on in the game. Like the first gank happened and then you guys just kept like hammering it home. I mean, a lot of like good building blocks in that.
Yeah.
And we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about your series a little bit more in depth. What were your takeaways?
I mean, game one, we played the Rise Pantheon, which is very global heavy comp. We need to not fist fight the enemies. We need to play well with our ultimates. And I think Contracts, honestly, both games had a better early game than Inspired. Both games, he kind of came out with a lead. Game one, it was the bot gank that I think really set the tempo for everything. And then game two, I think Inspired was calculating some kind of bot dive. So he did some weird clear where Contracts just got ahead naturally. But I feel like our games today were great until they weren't. And in both of the games, there was one fight on Bot River where Zinni kind of rise ulted right in the middle of 4 people and killed himself.
Oopsie.
Where I think if that doesn't happen, we've all done it. Yeah. But I think if that doesn't happen and we can play out that fight naturally, we will win that fight. And then in game 2, the same kind of thing. We were invading Inspired's red buff, and it was a great play. We got the red buff, and then we fought, and our target selection was just poor. Yunara ends up getting 3 kills after they were behind in bot lane. And then, from that moment, the whole game dynamic has just changed. So even though we had a great first 10 minutes, one play just almost deletes a lot of that progress. So yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, building blocks, at least.
Yeah.
With I have too many questions in my head, so I just lost track of what I want to talk about. I want to finish the point on Lion because we're talking about Inspired, and last year how FlyQuest felt so insane to play against, and this year they're trying to do the same thing. What isn't connecting in the same way for them that makes it feel like a much closer league? Because I completely agree that our like behemoth team, our like G2 level team doesn't exist this year, which does make it actually really wide open. I think you can look at it and say, oh, nobody's that exciting because nobody's dominant, but that in the past can also lead to more competition and more growth. But I'd agree right now, like our best team is not as good as our best team last year. So what's lacking on the Lion team, even though they have Inspired?
I think Bwipo was like a pretty key piece on FlyQuest. Like their bot lane did a good job with not many resources, and I think Buzio is a very smart player with like just good mechanics. He's just very well rounded,
Super good skirmisher.
But I think Bwipo was the guy that kind of broke the game open. And like I don't know if you ever, I mean, Tanner can probably speak on it better than I can because he worked with him, but it just feels like anytime there's a slight crack on the top side of the map, they could just explode the map so easily through top. Whereas I think this year with Lion, they're solid, but they just don't have the same. You don't feel the same level of pressure that you felt against FlyQuest. I don't know how you feel.
No, yeah, I mean, when I was coaching FlyQuest, even it's just Bwipo and Inspired worked really, really well together. They're both very fiery personalities, but they had a lot of mutual respect for each other's game. So I think, yeah, the kind of what you said before, like the 2-1-2 system they developed where Quad and Masu weren't getting many resources, but Bwipo had a lot invested into him. Yeah. They just found their identity and it worked in that meta, especially. Yeah. I do think meta probably has a lot to do with it as well. The fact that they have Berserker and Isles, I think the mage supports that are happening right now, it makes the game very volatile. So it's just different than it was last year.
Man, okay, that's good because the next question I was going to have was on meta since I thought Split 1, Lock-In, or LCK Cup or LEC Versus were like very fast tournaments with a lot of volatility, and you weren't really sure what the meta was going to be. And then around the time of First Stand, it really felt like we were starting to settle on these bot lane pairs of we're going to pick Ashe Seraphine, we're going to pick Corki Nami, we're just going to pick our Enchanter pair with the AD carry that fits best. And top laners just get to exist, and they're going to join up later, and we're all going to play Sunrise Sky junglers. And that's like kind of the whole game. But then, in a sense, BLG won in a slightly different way. They were going down 1,000 or 2,000 gold bot lane each game, and then they'd keep it close, Spin would carry. I'm seeing a little bit of experimentation out of like T1 last night played Camille in game 1. Like they're really trying to bend things a little bit. But how do you guys feel like the game is developing now that we're 4 months into role quests and the new season?
Yeah, I just think right now I think the jungle picks are arguably like the most important thing. Like Sundered Sky junglers, Jarvan, Xin Pantheon are like a lot stronger than like the tank junglers like Maokai, Sejuani. So naturally you want to pick AP mid with that. Yeah. And then bot lane priority matters so much because of Dragon. Like Dragon stacking is the easiest way to win the game at the moment. And then because you can't lane swap anymore, top lane, like range counter picks are pretty important. So a lot of the time it feels like taking second side can be better because you see stuff like Vayne, that kind of thing. So like lane priority, like strong mid jungle and being able to stack dragons is like the easiest way to win the game.
Which has kind of been true for like
10
years, 14 years. Yeah.
But it's like, it felt like before when lane swaps are in the meta, if you didn't like just pick Alistar or something, you actually would just feel like you get outscaled and you couldn't punish bot lane as hard. Right. Whereas now it's like, it feels pretty bad in like, especially game 1 to play like a melee support into Ashe Seraphine. Yeah. You can't there's no way around it. You just have to face that lane unless you cheese them early. So that's kind of the direction, in my opinion, of the meta.
I think it's cool. I think like the more things like kind of settle, I think that you actually get a lot of innovation in how people like, I think a lot of like the early part, like you can see it, in LC, like you can see it in every region. It's like, oh, okay, we know that like the game, because like you play out a sequence enough, that it's like what you're saying, Sam, like Ashe Seraphine get the prior into like Ali. It's like we can't break like you can't do anything. They get the dragon stack, like they threaten dive, like jungle gets tempo. It just feels like this insurmountable kind of pressure. But then you see people doing things like like level 1 invading more often now, or like trying to break like the lane, like throwing the tempo of the game off.
There's way more jungle invades.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how that develops. And it's like, oh, so you know that this sequence is kind of inevitable. Like, how do you alter it before it happens? Or are you okay just giving one thing for it and then doing something else? I think that's...
I like it.
Yeah, I really like how the game's developing like that.
Actually, Jose was talking about it today. He was showing that, like, junglers are so paranoid about the early invades nowadays that they're like starting blue, like pathing wolves, like getting their red and then like pathing back to bottom, that kind of stuff, just to evade what happened to essentially break the bot prior, which was like invading with Xin Zhao kind of play. So we're at like the third evolution of the meta. Like if you just watch on the minimap like any LCK game, you're gonna watch any weak jungler like Vi just do some very strange path just to not get invaded. So that's kind of like the step of the meta we're at the moment.
They're very willing to do an incredibly slow full clear and then reset for an item, even like not even try and collect their crab sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they'll usually end up getting the crab because the other guy like doesn't know for sure if he did the slow clear. So he's going to base anyway because he doesn't want to mess up his tempo.
Yeah. And then doing that, the Raptors. Oh, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, doing that opens up like potential bot dives and stuff because you have to like potentially path top to not die your blue, and then your bot lane can get stacked on and dove. So it's like every step has like a weakness to it. So you have to just stay ahead of like what the next weak point is, essentially.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Damonte?
Yeah, I mean, I think early game jungling is super exciting right now. I feel like you see a lot of interesting adaptations and just how it impacts everything. I feel like you're very right where it feels almost solved in the instance of like, if I do this and they do that, then this will happen a minute later, which, I mean, I think it happened a lot before, but right now, especially with the enchanters support, I feel like it matters so much more. And then the other thing that I think is good is no Otacon. I feel
I actually just relaxed when you said that. It's not every game you don't have to get really tense at 20 minutes.
I loved Otacon.
I hate Otacon.
The 100 Thieves, we won like the most of our games Otacon.
I just like the sequence of how to end the game now. It reminds me of when we were pro players. You know, it's just like
wait for Soul, like 25-minute
guys,
Baron.
Let's crack the tier 2s with the Baron and then get the second Baron and we can win the game.
Let's open 2 lanes.
Man. Okay. Is it too much strategy to give away what you guys are trying to improve the most before playoffs? Or is that something we can talk about? Because I'm curious, like, what do you, one, if you have something you're looking forward to in the rest of the split, but I think more importantly, like, what are you working on the most that you are, excited for?
I can go.
Yeah.
I think right now we were working on kind of just understanding how to play a controlled game because at the beginning of the split, I think we were very willing to hand strike people and that wasn't working for us. So right now we were over the past month, I would say, adapting to play a more controlled style. And I think right now we're finally reaching a point where our practice is getting pretty consistent and our stage games are getting consistent in the early game, at least. So right now it's a lot about setting up objectives and just playing around the dragons, because I think we were just faltering even getting to that point before. But now we're actually approaching, okay, this is actually getting replicated every day, all day. So now let's really dial in how these sequences look.
Yeah. I think for us, it's like, I think someone's mentioned it before, but they're on the nail with like, we have been working a lot on trying to play super fast tempo and be like really aggressive, because in split 1, we found that we were like, we would win scrims through being aggressive and looking for skirmishes. But then when we would show up to the stage, like nothing would happen. So for us, it was about like making it obvious to ourselves of how to be aggressive so that when we get on stage, we can have a plan and understand of like, how can we make action happen in the game without just like doing it instinctively. So that's been the biggest one for us.
I need to ask you, the kill in game 3 where Jose, Core, and Quid got the kill basically in the base. Like I've never seen a game where every turret is alive and a double kill happens between mid-tier 2 and the inhibitor turret.
Me neither.
How in the world?
I just remember Yon was like, damn, you guys are deep. That was his comms. Yeah, I think we saw someone topside, I believe.
They just did a 3-man dive, so Palafox was gone. So quick peek walk through the turret.
So yeah, I mean, we were just talking about like cross mapping fast, so we just entered really fast, and then it's just I think it's just a product of our champions, to be honest. Like Jarvan, Ari, Rakan, you just have so much mobility of the ability to punish easier. So that's kind of how that one happened, I guess.
Ended up taking that Bard portal too, so like sent
Getting
them all the way to the
more
gate.
mobility. We get the getting the Uber.
I challenge anyone to show me like kills happening in that location in like the history of League of Legends with all 6 turrets up. It just blew my mind that somehow I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, we're good at breaking records.
You know what's funny? I'm about to do another like caps talk randomly, but I remember when I went to Worlds in 2019, I scrimmed caps, and it felt like I was just getting dove behind my tier 2 mid at like 6 minutes all the time, and I'm like, what the hell?
That happened to me against Bangkok Titans when we were qualifying for Worlds.
Oh yeah, dude.
This was a Raz question actually.
That's crazy, actually.
I asked him what I could ask you guys to get you, and he says. He just says, ask them about Bangkok Titans.
No, I literally, I
got traumatized during that series as well.
Tell me about it. The best example of what happened in that series is I was pathing from my wool.
This was an IWC qualifier in Turkey.
Yeah.
Right?
So we were in the final to make it to Worlds, and I was pathing from my Wolves to Raptors on red side, and Simon was leaning against Yasuo, and the Yasuo E'd through the wave, through Simon, and killed me in my tier 2 turret. And I was like, that was the end of that series. We lost right then and there. I was just like, how did this happen to me? I'm just trying to clear my camps, man. This guy just dove me in my tier 2.
Yeah.
I was the jungler. I'm supposed to be ganking this guy.
No, yeah, I got gapped. I got gapped.
Mid gap.
Yeah,
Do you think if your jungler was Juves instead, you would have won?
I don't think we would have been there.
Juice randomly gets tagged in this. He's like, what are they doing? Why are they talking about this? I mean, that's pretty much it. I didn't hear what you're working on for the rest of the year, though.
We're just trying to work on basically like win condition in the game, and then adaptation if something goes awry. Being
dynamic, one might say.
In a way, being dynamic. I mean, we have a real tempo issue at the moment where like I think it's a product of losing a lot as well. It's like once you get an opportunity in the game, you don't really want to relinquish it. It's like so you just stay with bad condition. You keep looking, like all that kind of stuff. It's like you could chalk it up to just lack of discipline, to be honest. But I think it's like a reprioritization or prioritization actually on like if you reset, something else good can happen, right? Rather than just like sitting there forever.
Yeah.
Or like relinquishing things. I think it's just. We have like quite aggressive players. Yeah. And I think like reining them in is like the biggest challenge.
It's kind of funny because you have like a boomer team.
Yeah, I know.
Like, can they just chill out?
That's what I'm saying.
Ignar is never going to chill, man.
I'm just saying, like with the boomers at some point, like you're not going to win on the keyboard.
Yeah.
So just like, as you said to me before, the old people have to use their brain to win the game.
I did say that, yeah. I was like, you can't keep up with hands anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to just be first.
That was me my whole career. Never had a keyboard.
What do you define as a boomer nowadays, though? Because Faker's like 30. Chovy's been playing like
Faker's
8-9 years.
Faker's a true boomer. He's like the goat of boomers. Boomer is just like someone who can't play Yone, so just ends up playing like when Faker locks in TF, it's like you don't have to lane, and he uses his wisdom to affect side lanes, and they win the game. That's how a boomer should play.
Uses his wisdom.
Right.
But can't play Aurora. True. Still not that good at Yone.
Yeah, but it's like why would you hands check people when you're smarter than them? Yeah, you can just red card, cue the wave, run away, attack side, GG.
Yeah,
that's a boomer.
It is crazy. League is a lot more about when to fight than actually fighting. Like you need to be, I mean, at the highest level, you're still needing to get hands checked in all these situations, but there's plenty of games where you don't get hand checked at all.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Faker, he has very good hands still. It's just maybe not as good as like Zeka and Chovy. I don't know if that's a hot take, but like
you're gonna have T1 fans coming at you.
I'm actually I'm a T1 fan. I just think that Zeka and Chovy are better.
Would you say that last year?
At hitting their keyboard and mouse. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I have no horse in this race.
I will say though, on this note, I have the fastest reaction speed on Team Liquid. We did like the reaction speed test. I'm the oldest.
Okay, these reaction speed tests. I'm actually interested in this. Where did you do them? Because I felt like there's such a big gear component to this. Did you do them here on those PCs out
No,
there?
it was at TL. We all used the same PC to
Okay.
make sure it was good data.
Give me the millisecond readout. for
My
Team
average
Liquid.
was like a 168. I think one of our players, it might have been Jose or something, had like a 200 average.
No.
I'm like, how does this happen? Like, where's the reaction? Maybe it wasn't Jose. I don't want to throw Jose under the bus. Who was it? Who was the boomer?
If you don't put another name forward now, it's like
It's
I'm
just
just
gonna
gonna.
be Jose.
The safe bet is Core because he's also old. So maybe it was Core.
Core was really good at the pattern recognition games.
Mm.
If you did them on the like human benchmark test, is that where you did them?
Yeah, that was exactly what
he
it is.
smurfs those.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've gotten as low as like 160 on the PCs out there and like 220 on my phone. I don't understand it.
So maybe age isn't the biggest factor,
No.
or maybe it is with mouse precision. I don't know.
I think
Couldn't tell you.
we're out of topics, except for next week of LCS. I'm gonna let you guys go home real quick.
Let's end this.
I'm gonna read the schedule real quick, and you just tell me the game that you're most excited to watch. So you can't pick your own team.
oh, okay.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Fly Dig, C9 Shopify, Lion DSG, and Team Liquid Sentinels.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's actually Team Liquid Sentinels because Sentinels won that
agree
last
with
time.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you have to pick a different one.
Oh.
Yeah, Fly.
C9 Shop could is C9 Shop, right?
Yeah,
I think actually low key it could be interesting. I think that Shop is like leveling up a little bit because we streamed them this week. You could tell they made like a good amount of progress, and I don't think C9 is like insurmountable. So my hot series of the week is that one.
nice. Hot series of the week.
Hot
What
series
about
of the
Fly-
week.
appreciate
Sam's
that.
hot
Fly
series of the
Dig?
week. Fly Dig.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. I mean,
Ooh.
That's a
guys-
good angle for Dig's first win.
Yeah, no flame. I think Dig is solid as well. I was telling
Thanks,
Spawn, I think Dig is at least top 8 in the league. No, top six.
Classic.
No flame. I think Dig could win that series as well.
I think you guys are gonna win. That's
Oh.
my take.
Really?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that like? Do you have like a reasoning behind that? or is
Yeah,
it
I was
just a
watching
feel?
Dignitas today, and their aura felt positive. So
So it's about
just going off
the
that.
aura. Okay.
I think Flycross
Yeah.
is going to play too crazy, and I think Palafox is going to put them in their place.
They have really strong lanes.
Palafox is playing well at the
do.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also said he's the best Orianna Azir player in the world.
Well.
He said that in an article.
I did see that.
Yeah.
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 I agree with him.
You agree with him?
Yeah, that's
me
why we
too.
played Ori Azir today. I was just
That's good.
testing
Yeah,
the
just
sentiment.
testing it.
And he won. So
He
my
won
man.
the game.
My man. Oh, we had to put it to the test.
And conclusion?
Yeah, he's the best Orianna
Yeah,
player
nice,
in the
okay.
world. I agree.
Liquid's a 0. Okay, thank you for watching, coaches. We did it again. We may never do it again. It depends on if the comments enjoyed
Cool.
this dynamic. But
Thanks
thank
for
you all
having
for
me.
joining me.
Likewise.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
you
you.
guys
Thanks.
go through a hard week. We farm your reaction cams like crazy, especially Swiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
it's
so
been-
good
it's been a
reactions.
hard-
You're
it's
very
been a hard-
charismatic, Simon.
Thank you, Sam. It's been a rough
Even when
one.
you're winning, you look stressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what angle we're gonna throw on. I'm just thinking about it, but it's all right. It's all right. We'll get there.
All right. This podcast is weekly on the LCS YouTube channel. We're going to see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.